Good morning, everyone. I'm Rick Stanley, your host on Chamber Talk on 104.3 Seacoast Oldies. Thank you for joining me this morning. My guest, one of my guests, current guest, has been a frequent guest, and I really like to have him. Andy Austin, thanks for being with me this morning.
What are we talking today? Snowmobiles, blues?
Boy. It's almost snowmobile season over.
Oh, boy. Last time I was on here, it was just kicking up.
Yeah, well, if we all think about what climate change is doing, I hate to say that, but, you know, seasons of everything. There goes the fire department, right? If anybody can hear that. But seasons are changing, and you know you get ice fishing this year. Now, my group used to go from New Year's Day to 1st of April because ice went out about April 15th almost every year. We don't get to go till middle of January, and we were off the ice last week because it's
a little shaky now.
Starting to be. I mean, there's some thick ice, but there's some thin ice too.
Yeah.
So we can. In winter sports is changing. Or have to find another sport, I guess.
I grew up snowmobiling, and I would love to, go out and spend money on buying a new or pretty, decent snowmobile. But the one thing that has kept me from doing it is just the short season. Yeah. And if I want to ride and go ride with my buddies, I got to, we go up to Eustis or Rangeley or Portage or whatever. That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time. You got to get the truck, you got to get the trailer.
You got to stay somewhere. Yeah,
you got to go up there, all the travel and everything. And I'm like, and how many weekends are you going to do it?
Yeah.
It's really, really tough, when you have, the schedule that we have with Seacoast Oldies, and I'm committed to this, and it's just...
Yeah. Unless you found a camp you could buy up north and then do remotely. You could,
pipe in the show.
Yeah, you could do it right from the camp.
Be like Tucker Carlson.
That was the name I was thinking of. Tucker's at his camp somewhere in Maine. I don't know where it is. But he runs his show from there. You could do that sometime, I guess.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, well, I just want to be on a beach in Florida somewhere. My girlfriend's that way. She's like, we should just go. I'm like, no. I said, I want to be in a cabin somewhere, I'm an outdoors guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so speaking of ice shacks, we had Ice Shack Makeover.
I was going to bring that up. That was a big contest you ran. Let's go over what the contest was, and then let's talk about how it ended.
Well, Ice Shack Makeover was something when I used to do a lot of ice fishing. I used to, see all the beat up ice shacks, and I thought to myself, I bet you there's, someone in York County that, has an old ice shack that they've used since the 90s or the 80s or whatever, and we would pimp that shack out, and we got a
makeover.
A makeover. A common thread to some of the things that I've talked about on the show are local businesses working together and doing some really cool prizes, some out of the box stuff. So we got Jack from Sanford Sound. And,
great guy.
Oh my
God. Great
God.
business.
Yep. And so and Eldridge Lumber also chipped in too. So we got a couple of really good local sponsors, and we had people submit their sorriest looking ice shack for a couple of weeks through our text line. And we got a guy, I forget the gentleman, no, his name's Josh, but he had this ice shack that's a converted pop-up trailer.
Yeah.
And he, just an incredible guy. He's one of the Hootie Who guys.
Yeah.
Well, he ended up winning, and so we're going to give him some cool stuff. Well, we Sanford Sound is going to give him some really cool stuff. Jack, of course, he was in as of this recording, probably in the Caribbean. So,
really?
Yeah.
Jack didn't tell me he was going. Not that he would tell me, but
well, he's not going to ask you to go with him.
No,
but
well, I know,
we were going to do a.
Sometimes it's a jealousy thing. Hey, Rick, guess where I'm going?
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't do that. We're not that close, but
he's a great dude, and we appreciate all the local support. But we're going to do a thing down at Sanford Sound with some of the prizes and everything that he won. But one thing I learned from doing this, because in the time that you and I were on together last time, I spent some time on the water at a couple of different ones, one being the A.J. Davis Ice Fishing Derby over there on Shaker. And there were so many people there. But one thing that's changed since I've really been on the water a lot was the fact that a lot of people just have pop-up tent campers now, ice shacks. So there really isn't the old ice shack feel that that I remember. Yeah. So we had a number of great entries, but when I was out there, I was like, I didn't realize that so many people were hooked up now.
Boy, it's those pop-up tent type things, and they're made for ice fishing, and they are around because up at my camp, and again, we talked, I fished, when there's ice, we fish every week, just about every Sunday we fish. And we're starting to see more and more of these guys that call them nomads, I guess, right? They drag their stuff out on the ice and find a spot and then set the tent up.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're done for the day and they leave.
Yeah. It's, I'm like old school like you. When we didn't have a place to go to and needed to wanted to ice fishing, we had a shack and we dragged it out there on some lake, and it would stay on that lake till it was time to take it off. You weren't moving it too much.
Right.
But these portable ones, you can go fish anywhere. Put them up anywhere.
You could be in the witness protection program with that darn thing. Just take right off to a next lake. No one even know it's you.
Exactly, yeah.
So that was really cool. Congratulations to Josh. And we had a number of great entries and everything. So, we try to get something going on every single month on Seacoast Oldies. Yeah. That's a little different than what you're going to get
I heard
anywhere else.
Just a rumor. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you're even allowed to talk about it too much. But, in my business, I hear about everything.
I know
you might not think I do, but I have.
You know where the bodies are buried.
I have people, right? I have people. But you've got something coming up. I know it's going to be rolled out after this show on Sunday morning, but like maybe by Monday. Is there anything you can talk about?
Oh, you always pull it out of me.
No, I just heard about it.
Yeah,
I thought maybe we give people a little taste of what's coming. Then they'll have to listen to on Monday to find out the details.
We're friends, right? It's just you and me.
Absolutely.
Just you and me at the stable.
Boys.
Yep. We just got these couple microphones. Yep. I'm really excited about this next one. As excited as I was for Ice Shack Makeover. This one. It's going to be, okay, so we wanted to do something in March, and when you think of March and sports, you think March Madness. Yeah. Well, you can't say March Madness, just like you can't say Super Bowl. Like when we did the Bowl Patrol with Otto, and that was a ton of fun, and Jerry's Market as well. Yeah. Well, this is going to be an animal version of March Madness. And so there are brackets involved. If you're, messing around with your dog or your cat or your pets this morning, make sure that you take a photo of them. I mean, I'm sure you have 1,500 photos.
I can show you mine. Yep.
So I don't want to roll out all the details. Don't want to steal the thunder away.
I don't blame you.
But it's going to be tomorrow morning at 7:15. I'm taking a few days off, so Pete Falcone is going to be filling in, and he's going to do the big announcement of what's coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7:15, what's coming up for the next 3 weeks. I can tell you, again, that we have some great local businesses and partners that have come on board to help us out with this contest. And it's people right here in town. It's Partners Bank. It's Otto, who once again are a returning customer.
Otto's a pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Those that don't know, it's fairly new in Sanford. Yeah, they joined the chamber right off the bat.
Yeah, they're great. Ramon is an awesome guy. And so, I mean, good local businesses working together and having fun at the same time. I mean, we're not... there are people who do a lot of serious jobs in the world, and we're not any of them. Yeah, great.
That's great. Now, you're saying you're not going to be around the next few days. Is that a secret?
No. I just need some time off. I hit the ground running with this project late July. It was actually the first day on the job was the Friends of Downtown car show.
Mm-hmm. This is when you came on board and became a partner with the radio station.
Yeah, and I came from another group, and I had not taken any vacation any time since like February.
Really?
So I haven't had, and I've had maybe two.
You're talking last February, a year and almost a month.
2 non-holiday, maybe one non-holiday day since February of last year. So it's time. We got a lot of great things going on, but when you have a lot of things going on, you have a lot of people to talk to, and sometimes things start falling through the cracks, and I don't want that to happen. Yeah,
everybody honestly needs to take a break once in a while and get away from what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And what you do, I know you love, and people love to listen to you. But what you do is something that you've been wanting to do. Forever, right? So, I mean, how can you...
I don't want to screw it up, man.
but taking some time off to...
it's just recharge, 3 days. Do you think...
Get a nice sleep with you. You look like you need to sleep a little bit.
That's what everybody says.
You're up late at night, and you get up early in the morning.
There's a positive to being up really early, especially this morning when we're recording this. And that was the blood moon.
Yes.
That was a fun drive to work today, looking up and seeing the full moon and seeing it all red and everything. Mind you, the eclipse peaked at 2:55 in the morning. and I was up at 1:30.
So you saw it all.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I woke up at 1:30 this morning, and was on the road by about 2:15, 2:30 or so, and that was on the back of another night where. I woke up and I was like, you ever wake up and you're like, I'm not going to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Then
it's almost that thing. You think you need to go back to sleep, and that keeps you awake because you're thinking that you need to go back to sleep. It becomes a vicious cycle.
Yeah. So I don't fight it.
Yeah.
My body will tell me when it's time to rest.
Yeah.
And apparently the last 2 days was not any of those times.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm looking forward to a nice slumber tonight.
The winter's been it's a cold winter, and these little hints of warm days, at least for a few hours during the day, have I think perked people up a little bit too, and the hour change as well.
Is this the worst month of the year for you?
I would say half and half. The first half, yes, because it's still too cold to be out at night at all, and you can't do anything in your yard because it's still snow. But the last part of March, when the time changes and it's light till 7 o'clock or so, right? And it's a little bit warmer, it gives me the hope of what's to come. So I'd say half of March is no good for me. You could get rid of it. And the last half, I start to get the feel of enjoyment of the warmth in the spring. Yeah,
it's a tough month. It can't figure out what it wants to do. Everybody says January's long and 31 days, and I get that, but I love being outdoors. I love winter. It's just that for me, March is the in-between because it's not really winter, so you can't enjoy the winter stuff. And to your point, it's too cold in the morning to really enjoy the spring stuff. Yeah. You have to wait for, yesterday, you're listening to this on a Sunday morning. Yesterday, Saturday, was a great day. Yeah. Temperatures in the 55, 60 degrees.
But it's short-lived, and,
then it's 20 again.
Yeah, yeah. So, and even 20 feels good compared to what it was.
Yeah, your face doesn't hurt leaving the house.
Your fingers don't hurt when you're outside. Whole different story. January, you expect what you're going to get. So it's not like, January, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But by March, you don't know what you're going to get. And when it's not good enough for you, you don't like it.
Yesterday, I did my first, I have a group that I ride bicycles with in Lewiston. A bike shop up there, and we had our first group ride of the year, and it was cold in the morning, and I have that Raynaud's, whatever the heck they call it. I have it. I don't know what it's called, but it's when half your hand turns white,
really,
and you have no circulation.
That's happened when you maybe got frostbite at one time?
I don't know. I have the circulation of a windowless one-room schoolhouse. Like the air, it just sits in there and it doesn't really circulate in my body.
How about your toes?
Same idea. I can't feel my feet right now.
Yeah. I'm the same way now. I'll let you touch my toes after the show.
No, we're not doing that. This is not that show.
Just so you know,
this is not
the truth.
Who was that guy, that football coach that really liked feet? He coached the Bills. I think he coached the Patriots too.
Not Parcells.
No, not Parcells, but like someone like him.
Yeah.
Oh, what was his name?
And he
liked feet.
Really?
Yeah, and it's right on the tip of my tongue, and I'm sure there's someone screaming at the radio going, right, it's that guy.
It's this guy.
Yeah. Well, let us know. Yeah. Hit us up at 324-1220. Send us a text, and I'll think of it by the end.
Tell us who's Andy's trying to
I'm going to look it up.
Recognize.
While you're talking about
it's fine to do that. Nobody can see what you're doing on my radio show. So, and again, it's great to have you come in. My guest today is Andy Austin, and he is one of the partner owners of the of 104.3 Seacoast Oldies. So
I typed in Google feet coach just to see what would be the first thing that came up.
Yeah.
Rex Ryan.
Oh.
It was Rex Ryan.
So you don't have to text in. We know who it is now.
No, text. We want to know that you're out there.
All right. Yeah. Do people recognize you around town now? I mean, radio's tough because they don't see your faces often, unless you're doing a remote or things like that. But can you go like in the grocery store and they go, "Hey, you're Andy Austin"?
No, something like that. But I'll tell you, I can't.
You need a coat that says Andy Austin.
I don't. I have a voice though that you can't prank call anybody with this. That's for
true.
Sure. Yeah. But no, I will run into places where I think you can kind of tell that people listen to the show, and they know the voice, per se. And
that makes you feel good, right?
They might see. Hometown. Well, I love it when people listen. Like really being here, being a hometown kid, having something to do with the conversation in this town and moving things forward and being a part of what, everybody's trying to accomplish here is really, really gratifying.
Yeah.
So, it's really, really cool. Not like in a vanity sort of way, but just because I know that our movement in the radio branch of the tree that is Sanford Springvale, doing different things and giving people an opportunity to, have some fun. It's working, and you see that when you run into people that you've never met before that have discovered the radio station, or they see some of your stuff on social media. It is very gratifying.
I brought it up before, but I go like into a Hannaford or wherever, somewhere around, and ultimately I'll run into somebody that will say, "Hey, I heard your show on Sunday morning, and that was a really interesting topic, or I really liked your guest, or whatever." And they're not the same people that do that. They're different. So I know somebody's listening, right?
Yeah.
And it's not, again, that's not an ego thing. It's just the idea that if we put the effort in to have a radio show, it's nice to know that there are people out there that are listening to it.
It's a reinforcement of the passion that you put into a product. Yeah. It's always great to have that reinforcement that, you're doing not necessarily the right thing, but you're doing things that matter to something more than yourself.
Yeah. And it makes me not want to have a rerun. I know over the years, things don't always work out. Your guest cancels the last minute, or you have a snowstorm that week and you can't get anybody in.
Or he's putting his blue show together and he might be a little late.
Yeah, or you're trying to get Andy in and he's got something else going and I'm stuck for a guest, or whatever it may be. That ultimately, sometime you got to yank it, you pull the plug and say, you got to play a rerun. And, that bothers me to do that.
Yeah. It's not fun.
That somebody, all I can think of is that pretty much sure that not the same people hear the show every week. There's different people, or they miss one week. And so there's some people that might hear the rerun but don't know it's a rerun.
That's the thing. It's like, Dave Chappelle or any comedian literally tells the same joke 200 times in a row. Yeah. But to the audience that's in Austin, Texas, it's the first time they've heard it, even though he told it in Toledo, Ohio the previous night, and then in Boston, Massachusetts the night before that. So to them, it's a fresh show every single time. But to Chappelle, it's like playing Freebird because he just plays the same. I mean, I'm just taking Chappelle. You can take any Jim Jeffries. You can take any comedian.
Bob Marley.
Marley does a great job at it. Yeah. But when you tell that joke, you have to tell that joke like it's the first time you told that joke.
Exactly. Yeah, they got a talent to be had. We had Bob Marley. We sponsored Bob Marley to come to the Springvale Little Theater several years ago.
Oh, wow.
And we had two shows because Little Theater only holds 150 people. And we were able to get him he wanted to do two shows. He was already there. So we set it up for two shows. So I was his host. So I sat out in the back room with him between shows. So I listened to the first show, and other people, friends of mine, listened to the first show, and then they split up, and then we go back, and he's doing other things. He's getting, he's got a manager doing this and that and everything else, but it's not high, pressure or anything like that. So then he goes out to do the second show, and it's pretty much the same as the first show. But if he gets off on something, let's say a heckler from the audience or whatever, he will vary his show at that point.
Yeah, you do that. I mean, you have your base. Like I told the same joke 3 times on the show today, but it was 3 variations of the same joke. Yeah. We had I forget what the topic was, but we recycle topics because it's a 5-hour show every day, and you want to make sure you're putting your A, B content forward. Just because it's a 5-hour show doesn't mean you need 5 hours of different material, because people aren't going to sit and listen to the radio for 5 hours.
Right, yeah.
I'm lucky if I get them for 22, 24 minutes.
They're driving to work and they got the radio on, and then it's off after they get in the parking lot, right?
Well, they put it on, they hopefully the goal of morning radio is to, grab the listener, first thing in the morning, give them what they need, whether, of course that's changed, with the internet and everything, but entertain them on their way to work.
Yeah.
And then once they get to work, to, make that transition to the smart speaker or, the app, or if you're at if you have an indoor job, maybe stream the station and whatnot and listen all day.
Is there a strategy as to, let's say, the morning listener? Let's say you've got in your, however you figure it out, that your morning listener is in the car, let's say a car listener is in the car at 6 in the morning and he's at work by 6:45, 45 minutes or whatever. Let's just say that, right? And do you say, well, like on the hour at 7:30, or on the half hour at 7:30, that a commercial is going to come on because it's going to be right when they are in the car. So we want to strategically put some of our advertisers in a certain time frame that they would most likely be listening. Is there a strategy to that kind of thing? Or?
There are varying strategies. In our way of doing business, we aren't the conglomerate radio station that's just stuffing 10 commercials in there or 12 commercials in there. And, that's a disservice. That's a disservice as someone who spends their hard-earned money with you. It's different if you're, like Home Depot and whatnot, because it's kind of just a write-off, and it's what they call barter, so they don't actually pay your radio station for that spot. But, if I'm dealing with, and we have a number of great clients who have been with us for years, whether it's Sean Moody, whether it's Lloyd's, whether it's, Jeff Shane, Partners Bank, just all these great businesses that invest in a local property like ours. We want to do our best to make sure they're getting a return on their investment. So yeah, we think of when is a good time to give them the message that's going to sink into a listener's mind without overwhelming them. Because if you listen to 10 commercials, you're not going to remember all of them. Yeah. But if you hear 3 or 4, that's palatable and it's something that you might remember.
I get it.
Right?
I get it.
So if someone remembers your commercial, there's a better chance they're going to walk through the door of that business, and then the business is going to have a great experience with the radio station, and then they're going to want to renew.
Well, just think you're on my show. I have no commercials. And you've mentioned several of your advertisers on my show.
Yes.
So they're getting...
Well, that was strategic.
They're getting the benefit. Yeah. Okay, you're stroking that now, Andy, right?
No,
but I get the point. And so they're getting the benefit. All my listeners now are hearing the half hour, some of your advertisers and who they are. So, hey, what the heck, right?
Well, this is free airtime. You know, I mean, we could probably charge you for airtime, but we're not going to do that.
No, I was thinking of charging you for airtime.
You think?
Yeah.
You know how many listeners you have?
Thousands.
We do.
No. Don't hide it from me, Andy.
Yeah.
Hey, why I got you here, I'm going to throw a couple of opportunities at you, but it's really for anybody else that's listening. I want to let them know the Chamber has activities that we invite, the public's invited to. I mean, this is not a closed...
Yeah, I love those Chamber events that you put on.
Well, we have a trivia night that's going to be at the American Legion on April 25th this year. It's a nighttime event, fun event, and we're selling tables out pretty much, but we're on Sunday morning. I still have 4 tables left. These are tables of 8.
Okay.
Or up to 8. Not everybody knows 8 people. Like, I hardly know 8 friends. So,
Did you have a MySpace account?
No.
Okay, so this is going to be completely over your head, so I'll just tell it real quick. So MySpace had a top 8. Right? How many friends you have on Facebook? A couple thousand, maybe? A couple hundred?
A couple hundred, 300, 200.
So what you would do is you would find the top 8 out of those 300, and those would be your featured people. And there was a whole lot of pressure back in the 2005, 2006 era to be in someone's top 8. Anyway.
Cool. Yeah. I don't know who's in my top 8.
Yeah.
You can show me how I can find out.
No. That's Facebook. They don't do that. No, MySpace does, but MySpace doesn't.
No
one cares.
TikTok, MySpace.
Right.
I'm getting towards the end of all this.
Hopefully,
I'm going
we
back
are
to a flip phone when it's all said and done.
Yeah,
so you know.
I have a couple of days off, and I routinely do and I think it's important to do a digital detox. If you have a job that is, listen, I'm not going to go on a hill and say that social media is horrible and I don't like it. because I think that's an easy grab. There are parts of social media that I really enjoy, so I can't throw the whole topic out there and say I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I think when you have a job like the one, if you're in broadcasting, you need to have a presence more so than like I would really want if I didn't have that job. I think is a nice way of saying that, when I'm not doing it, I think I like to roll off the throttle a little bit. And I think it's good for everybody to kind of have a digital detox a little bit, because you appreciate it more when you go back and you don't sit there and lose your entire day just scrolling on your phone.
Exactly. I can put my phone down, and especially on weekends, and put it somewhere and, and do workout. Basically, I'm afraid I'm going to lose it in my yard. And they're going to have to call it somehow to find it. So, yeah, putting it down. You got to put it down.
Yeah, people, my age and younger, I'm really concerned about Generation Z and the people coming up behind them who have never gone without a smartphone. Yeah. There was a generation that had never lived without the internet, and that blew my mind. Yeah. Well, now the generations coming up that have never lived without a smartphone because they've had that thing in their hand since they were 2 years old, 3 years old, their parents and stuff like that. So it's going to be a very interesting philosophical, psychological way on how we're going to exist as a society with a generation that doesn't know how to put the phone down.
What are they going to do with that hand? Let me finish.
Yes.
I'm
sorry. I took up way too much time.
This is my time now. A little bit. We have a trivia night on April 25th, and tables of 8. Yes. $200 a table. It includes food from Cruisin' Infusions. Ooh. We have an auction, and we have a raffle, and you're welcome to come. If you can't find 8 people, well, you still got to buy a table if you show up with 6, 5, or 4, but you can still buy a table today. If you're interested, call the Sanford Springvale Chamber of Commerce. You can find me somehow and say, hey, I'd like to have a table.
Not on MySpace.
No, not on MySpace. You can't do that. But I also have another event. I'm going to bring it up, and I'll bring it up weekly, hopefully, but we are sponsoring Motor Booty Affair. Wow. I got to thank there's some listeners going to hear that.
Yep.
On May 24th at Pilot's Cove.
That's a fun place.
Those tickets can be bought now, I believe, on you got to go to Pilot's Cove site because they're handling that type of thing. But it's a Saturday night, May 24th, and Pilot's Cove is at the airport, 199 Airport Road. So they have limited seating over there. I mean, you can have a lot of people, but they can't have too many. So if you're interested, and if you want to sponsor, call me at the chamber. I can tell you what you can do to sponsor. You'll get a premium table.
Yeah, and you'll be in front of hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a good thing for you.
You'll get a shout-out from the stage. I'll be able to do that, hopefully. Maybe I'll even sing a song with
it's a great way to host some of your most trusted clients and, allies, right? That
Give it as a gift, right? You get a table of 4.
Show your guys a good time. If you have a crew, take them out.
A vendor that you say, hey, you know what? I got you 4 tickets to Motor Booty. You can go in an hour early. You have a reserved seat. You get 4 drink tickets for nothing.
Wow.
And the promotion that we do before and after the event. So, yeah. So, anyway, both of those events you can call the chamber. One's in April, one's in May. So, don't wait if you're interested in that at all. So, Andy, we're almost out of time. I know that you'll be back just because I know you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you just send me an email and we'll
send you
connect.
an email and you'll show up, and I really appreciate that. You've been my savior, and it's a great conversation. I like to see you. So, with that said, I'm Rick Stanley, your host of Chamber Talk on 104.3 Seacoast Oldies. My guest today has been Andy Austin from Seacoast Oldies. We appreciate his insight, and
stay tuned for Roger.
Yeah. So Roger's coming right up,
right
after me. So, with that said, hope you have a